Forces inside this struggle, the third point inside this war, this is what we want to look inside this conference also. In a war that is happening like in Ukraine or like in Sudan, for example, or many other places of the world, we don't have to side with one or the other side. We don't have to decide if we are pro this side, pro the other side. We need to think about how we can construct our own side, how we can construct our own project, how the people, the democratic forces of the world, the youth, the women, the oppressed peoples, the oppressed religious communities, the indigenous communities, and the working class can build their own force together so that they can build a new world order by themselves. In a period of chaos, it is not clear what will come out of it. Today, nobody can say what will happen in the next 10 years. Today, nobody can even say what will happen in the next 5 years. Maybe we can make some prognosis about it, but maybe also our prognosis will be failed. If we think about what will happen in the next 5, 10, 15 years, we have to have a look what we are doing in the next 5, 10, 15 years. Because we are also inside the game of the world. It is not just the superpowers that are
ام نابیجن بایدن یان که ام دبیجن ام جی پارچه که وی جهانینه و ام جی دکارن رولا خواه بلیزن لوما دوی ام خواه بریخستن بکن و دوی ام دوی ببن خودیه ویزیونه که مزن و دوی ببن خودیه که پروژه که لهمبر وی آلوزیه تشتی هری باش اوه کو ام خواه آماده بکن و لوی داره اف سردم نشان داده کو لوی داره هم ویرکی هم جی ریخستنی دوی داکن بکاربن دشمنی خواه تیک ببن لوی داره نهان جهان سیمی شری جهان دمشه بلکه شری نهان نوک شری یکمین یعنی شری دویمینه که به میلیونان کس لهمبر هدو شر کرن نه ام دبینن لوی جهانی دلجه هر شر و پفچونی ده دیسا همان هید لهمبر لدش هف شر دکن لوان دوان ام دبینن لوی داره سری سیمی شر جهانی او چوا بداوی ببه کی او سرکفتن به او کی تیب و اف ندیاره اف گرینگه جبرکو ام جی دکارن لبیدر رولا خواه بلیزن و انجام وی شری دیار بکن و بطایبتی جو وکی جوانا جیانو که جهان
We are faced with feminicide, we are faced with economic exploitation, and we are faced with the ecological catastrophe that is lying in front of us, that we are maybe already inside, according to the definition. But still, despite of all of this, I would not say that we are looking into a dark future. Despite of all the wars that are going on and all the misery and the suffering that is taking place on this world, we are living also in times of great struggle. We should not forget that the last decades have seen struggles like the Arab Spring, or how we had called the Spring of the People, because it was going far beyond the Arab people. It was a revolution of the Middle East, an uprising in the whole region, which was the greatest uprising and biggest uprising in the history of the Middle East at all. We are living in times in which a global women's movement evolved, starting from the Latin American continent, spreading all over to Europe, to Asia, to all the parts of the world, and we see a global awakening of consciousness of women today around the world. We see a youth that in ecological struggles in the last years in millions took to the street. And also we have seen, and this is something important I want to point out, for example, the greatest strike in history, in human history ever, in the last 10 years taking place in India, with participation of over 100 million workers participating in one strike. So what we can see is there's a lot of hope also existing, despite of all of the darkness. We can see that there's not just the side of the system that is existing. There's not just the side of capitalism existing, not just the side of the ruling ones of this world, but also the other side of history is already existing today. The only problem that we see in this point is that one side is organized and the other side is not. While the ruling classes of this world have hundreds of different forms of coordination, they have their platforms, their military alliances like NATO, for example. They have their political alliances like G8, G20. They have the BRIC states, for example, that have been founded, the latest also, there's a lot of different forms of coordination, economical ones, political ones, and military ones. The ruling classes of the world are coming together and are discussing how they divide the world between themselves and how they will fight us back. While they are organized, our side of history most of the time is split and isolated from each other. And that is the only point why they are still in the position which they are the rulers, and why we are still the ones that are oppressed on this world. Therefore, we think this conference is happening at the right time. And we think that youth, as the force of society, that is naturally playing a vanguard role in each and every struggle. Wherever we are looking to, it is young people that are leading the struggles. It is young people that are standing in the forefront of every revolution, of every struggle. We believe that youth also needs to play a vanguard role in organizing the democratic and revolutionary forces of this world into a united front that can really strike a blow against the capitalist system also as well. We think this, as youth of today, is our historical responsibility that we have. A lot of times it had been said that maybe we are the last generation that can change everything. And I believe also in these analyses that are saying this. When I look to the world of today, when I just take one look into the news pages of this world, into the television, and I look just to the news of one day, I see it really clearly. We are the generation that has the duty, that has the task, the historical mission to lead humanity out of the darkness of capitalist modernity. If we are taking this responsibility, I believe we also can do it. While all the time the ruling ones of this world, maybe even our parents, maybe in the school, they want to tell us that there's no alternative existing to the capitalist system, while they want to tell us that there is no hope anymore existing for us to change this world, while they tell us that capitalism is the only system in which humanity can live, we also can see that this today is nothing but a bare lie. The struggles and the revolutions of the last century have shown us really clearly that today revolution is not something that is impossible. Also in the 21st century, revolution is something that we can achieve if we organize and if we show the will to do so. Especially the revolution in Kurdistan, the revolution of Rojava, as a practical example today of a self-administrated society where millions of people together are working on an alternative to the capitalist system, is an example for this and shows us clearly that the end of history that they have proclaimed after the fall of Greece socialism, the end of ideology, the end of philosophy, and the end of struggle has not been reached. This struggle is still continuing until today. We hope that with this conference, we will be able to take one step forward into this direction. For sure, we will have our shortcomings, we will have our mistakes. For sure, there's a lot that we need to do better, but we are here to discuss about this exactly. We need to discuss together where are the common points where we can work together, where we come together, where are the points that maybe until today divide us, and why do they need to divide us or not. We need to discuss together how we as a youth of today can become a force that goes forward into this direction, and also with this opens the way for all the other democratic revolutions. With this conference, for sure, I believe we will contribute to this. What will come out of it in the end is our own responsibility. Nobody is famous inside the conference should just see themselves in the
خبلا وکی گهداریان جم میوان نبینه ام همو لبه داره خودی برپرسیاری نه ام همو جی لبه داره تکوشینا خود ام پارچه این تکوشینی نه ام پارچه این وی هزینه کو اوی سبیروش بنویسه ایرو پیوه امه به هفره دیروکی بنویسینن. از دخوازم به گوتنه که عبدالله اجالان بداوی که مجبرکم ام کنفرانسیاری عبدالله اجالان کرد. اجالان دبیجه ام بجوانی دستپêkir و ام بجوانی بردوام بکن. یعنی ام نکارن بسر کبن و جاره که